ありがとうございます。
通訳は当然労組の、カーレットさんにお願いしております。
Thank you very much. I want to thank Dora Chiba for inviting me here for this, and it's good to see a lot of faces. We have one thing in common: we are all workers. In our community in Longview, Washington, an elevator was being built and is built right now. It's very much operable. That company is EGT. EGT consists of Bunge, which is a huge grain company. It is part of a grain cartel, just as the oil cartel. There's only a few players involved.
EGT の
Is a Tochu from Japan, which is a 25%. What we have to understand here is Bunge entered into a lease with the port of Longview.
バンギー社はロンビュー港と契約結んでます。
During these negotiations, we dealt with Bunge, and that was it. We never seen an Itochu official. We never seen an STX Pan Ocean official. Wrote the entire lease, and in a downturn economy of the Port of Longview went along this lease. Bunge last year made $2.5 billion in profits. The Fortune 500 company. They have 700 subsidiaries, and they are in 80 countries. Bunge is a very dark company. They've been charged in Brazil by Human Rights Watch for slave labor conditions, child labor. In Argentina, between the years 2007 and 2009, they are being sued right now by the Argentinian government for no taxes paid, which equals $298 million. In the United States, they've been fined by the Commodities Exchange Commissions for trying to manipulate soybean prices at a tune of a little over $500,000. And also they were fined $13 million by the US government for violations of air pollution quality standards in the United States among 8 states in the Midwest. This company built a $200 million project in our community. They imported workers from all over the United States, from non-union right-to-work states. They also brought into the country 150 Guatemalan workers to build the cement slip pour foundations and the silos. We were told in the beginning there was a lot of anxiety about this coming into our community. We were promised 200 construction jobs and 50 longshore jobs. In a community where unemployment was ranging anywhere from 13 to 15%, the community got nothing. My union, the ILWU, first started negotiations with EGT January 20th, 2010. They promised us in a short period of time they would give us a proposal. 13 months later, a little over a year, we got that proposal. It was very clear to us that they did not want to hire a union in there to operate that facility whatsoever. A year later, January 2011, February 2011, we sat down and got into serious contract negotiations. 2 sticking points to get a contract. First of all, they didn't want anybody in the master console room. Master console, yes. That is the area of the elevator that controls the flow of grain in and out of the elevator and onto the ships. The other sticking point is they wanted 2 shifts in a 24-hour period, 12 hours, straight time only, pay no overtime. So since then, what we have done as a union is we have blocked trains, and we honored our constitutional right to free assembly, and that's what we did. We have blocked a total of 5 trains. The laws in the USA are not wrote for working people. Since 1947, when Taft-Hartley Act was invoked, laborers have no rights. 2 major train blockages. One was on September 7th, when our international president, Bob McElrath, stood in front with probably 400 to 500 protesters. The pictures that day of the police coming and taking him to the ground and handcuffing him was a day that we sent a message to the world. From that point in time, the message was sent. We had solidarity throughout the United States, that being the whole west coast of the longshoremen. We had the International Longshore Association in the Gulf and the East Coast giving us solidarity.
なりました。
We have gotten support from ITF, support from MUA, support from the Teamsters.
受けてます。
In the meantime, my members have faced over 220 violations where we will be going to court soon. And EGT is ran to the National Labor Relations Board with over 30 accusations of violations against them. EGT, in the meantime, has hired a Pinkerton security firm to smear the, and at the same time hired a public relations firm out of Atlanta, Georgia, to help smear the name of the ILWU. They work together. A lot of these allegations are false. They accused us of throwing nails on the roads, intimidating workers and employees and security people. After our international president's arrest, the police brutality in my community became unbearable. They stalked our members on the streets and they stalked our members in their homes. A church preacher in our congregation was met at home by the police carrying AK-47s. A woman was arrested in her house and beat up by the police. One of my union officers was drug out of his car by his hair and roughed up by police. And we also filed civil rights lawsuit in federal court in Tacoma, Washington against the county police and the city police. Civil rights lawsuit.
いや、一般市民権利侵害の訴えもしてます。
And after we did those two things, you could see the police changed their tactics. Also next month, starting December 5th, I will be in court for a month on NLRB charges. And also in April of 2012, there will be a lawsuit that the Port of Longview filed against EGT.
そして2012年4月に
And in that lawsuit, the judge will determine whether our working agreement in that lease is valid to where EGT has to use the ILWU to work that elevator. What has happened since then is they've hired another subcontractor, operating engineers, to do that work in that elevator. Nowhere on the west coast of the United States does operating engineers operate a facility. In the state of Washington and Oregon, they are licensed to construct elevators, not work them.
運営することを許可されてません。
So what this has become is a corporation such as Bungie, Itochu, Pan Ocean to do one thing, break the union. The attack of the ILWU now is on the West Coast in the grain industry. This has been a very long battle. We have not yet to get a tugboat and a barge or a ship in yet, but that day is coming. And I'm so glad here to see this Korean contingency here, because we got word the first ship is destined for South Korea. When the tugboat and the barges come and the first ship comes, the ILWU will be there and we will fight them to the bitter end. We will meet the Coast Guard and the federales and the militia with our own private boats to try to stop that ship and those tugs and those barges. Our union has a saying, an injury to one is an injury to all.
私の組合ではことわざあります。一人に対する被害はみんなに対する被害です。
And more may be to come because we will be there to stop those ships. My final sayings here that we got a long ways to go in this battle.
これから戦いは長くなると思いますが、
But I want to tell everybody in the world that the ILWU will not quit and we will fight to win. This is what this is about. It's solidarity throughout the world with all working people. We all have something in common. Thank you very much.